Hello, welcome back to the African Millennials, and today we are speaking about Halloween. Where did it come from? What is the origin? And should black people and Africans celebrate Halloween? So let's get started. Okay, so who wants to start?
All right, so the origin of Halloween, yes. That depends on the culture, the environment. I know for like Mexico, they have their own culture, which is to celebrate the dead and the rise of the spirit. I know in like Europe, it was to fend off against, evil spirits.
Right.
And then was also the other, don't quote me on this, I know it was also a festival,
Celtics festival.
Yeah, Celtics festival and a festival for witches as well.
Right.
So it all boils down to like different cultural background. Now the one thing is that it does not have any tie to Africans at all. Like the Halloween celebration doesn't have any ties to Africans at all. In fact, Africans despise Halloween in a sense.
Why is it that they despise it?
Because the thing about it is Africans are very superstitious. Like we will play around, like Americans will play around with vampires, werewolves, witches, spirits, and all of that. Africa takes it serious. Like I don't want to generalize at the whole continent of Africa, but I would say we're very similar in that aspect. Africans, like, they take that very serious because like there are witches, like especially me from Nigeria, like there are witches in Nigeria, like people who practice evil magic or just voodoo and everything. So people take that. There are people who, like, not vampires, but do drink blood in the form of we call them babalao. So there's like this drinking blood and rituals. So we just we don't want nothing to do with that at all. Like we don't even want to touch that area. And then we also feel it from a spiritual aspect because they feel like once you celebrate something like that, it's like a transfer of spirit. Like you're allowing certain spirits to come.
But why does it have to be a transfer of spirit as opposed to like an appreciation of another spirit that has left to the other side? So
see, I get that part 100%. Like all right, we're just gonna celebrate the dead people, people who have died, who have been here. But unfortunately, it's been turned into something else.
Well, that's like every other holiday, and especially in America, it's turned into like, okay, how can we make money? Buy costumes, buy candy. Speaking of candy,
You know
what I'm saying? Like America always makes it about like how can they make more money?
Right. Of course, that's a definite.
But I think it depends on where you are, though. If you're back home, of course you're not going to want to celebrate because of no one else is, and through tradition, right?
Yeah.
But if you're here, and especially if you have kids, your kids are gonna feel left out, that they don't understand what we understand. And I think a lot of parents feel pressured, parents who don't celebrate feel pressured to let their kids celebrate because they go to school and they don't get to dress up, and they feel like their child is like being the oddball or left out.
So how do you be the in between?
I was gonna say, I feel like
my parents didn't celebrate Halloween. We didn't grow up celebrating Halloween, so I didn't care for it at all. I know a lot of kids who actually didn't even celebrate Halloween. So I'm not ashamed to be like, I'm not going to take my kids out.
See, I'm the difference. Like, I grew up on nothing but Halloween.
Right.
And that's something that we look forward to because it's kind of like, this is a time to be someone that I'm not. This is a time to like really like be a character. And it doesn't have to be something that's gothic or bloody or like witch or something in a negative sense. But I want to be Superman, or I want to be like so many other things. It allows them to have that creative mind of really just like doing something different and being someone else for that day.
I mean, in my situation, my mom does not like Halloween at all, but she let me celebrate Halloween as a kid because she didn't want me to feel left out at school. So she always just dressed me up.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I feel like in America it's more fun than anything else. But like I think in the African culture and also in Haiti, we celebrate voodoo also. So normally November 1st and November 2nd, it's called Jour des Morts. That means they celebrating dead people. So regular people will go to the cemetery, they'll do services, they'll bring in a priest, honor their dead people and just talk to them. But then after midnight, that's when the freaks come out. That's when all the witches come out. They'll do all their rituals. And if you get caught on those streets, you will not go back home because they'll literally do some crazy things to you and you will never go back home ever again. So
because the thing is, like, Halloween doesn't really have much of a positive notion tied to it. Unfortunately,
it's bad spirit.
And a lot of negative things happen on that day as well on Halloween. Like people use that opportunity to kind of wild out and do different things.
Well, mischief night.
Yeah, mischief night. Wearing masks and feel like, all right, I
so
could
what
be
do you guys
anybody.
think about like the Purge that's
The
out,
Purge?
like the movie, the movie now a TV show?
I think it's
like,
a terrible.
I
I think it was a terrible idea in the first.
to build in the first place.
Yeah,
but the fact that it's gotten so far, and it's kind of like what we already experienced on Halloween. It's really scary to see that that's mindsets of people that they need that night.
Like, oh yeah, you know, people they have all this anger bottled up. All right, we're gonna make a night where they could all just commit whatever crime. While the people
But that was more so a government thing, though.
Yeah, and they said
it was a government thing,
but
then like you guys said, Halloween is also mischief night. So because
a lot of
they
people
do have masks on, they feel like they can do whatever. You know what
Egg
I'm saying?
houses and throw toilet
egg
paper.
houses, do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even like you hear stories of like that's how why parents have to check candy because like you know kids' candies get poisoned and like just stupid things like that. Like people look at it as a way of
to commit evil.
Exactly.
But I was also reading online that people in Scotland literally have like this Halloween matchmaking. So they'll do like a scavenger hunt. And let's say we're having a party, whoever finds some sort of nut, that means they'll find love.
Find that nut. Okay.
So I'm just like, or
what type of nut?
like hazelnuts or something.
Oh,
or,
that type of nut.
Or
Okay.
if they burn the nut and if it doesn't turn into ashes, that means they'll have like their love life won't last. It's just like there's a lot of different rituals. It depends on where you're from. And I feel like in terms of like Black people, Africans celebrating it, I think if you're religious, I would feel like that's kind of weird for you to even celebrate it because, especially if you're superstitious.
Yeah, definitely.
You are attracting bad spirit if you believe in that. But if you're
if you go as that character, like if your kid wants to dress up as Superman, I think
it's cute.
maybe create boundaries. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like if you know you're from Africa and you come here, like allow your kid to dress up, but there are
maybe
like,
nothing
stipulations.
Yeah, maybe
you know
nothing crazy. Like Spider-Man is
you know,
fun.
be a princess. Go off and you know what I'm saying? Like all of those great things, but no, you're not being a ghoul, goblin, witch. You're not doing none of that.
Create the balance. That's your thing.
Yeah, or more
create
so
boundaries.
just the whole trick or treating aspect. Like trick or treat, but we're not celebrating the dead. Oh my god.
I mean, like, all right. Here's my thing. It's like, it's going back to like a lot of people like to put one foot in, one foot out. It's like sometimes certain things is like you can't kind of. It's like you can't kind of compromise with it. Like, all right, I'm gonna try to celebrate this aspect of it, but I'm not gonna try and celebrate this.
But
like,
what if you just send your kids to school dressed up as like a princess and not have them go trick or treating?
But then that's the fun of Halloween.
But you know, going to school dressing up is cute.
It's part of it, but the fun of it is going out with your friends, hanging out in the neighborhood, going from house to house. You're meeting your neighbors. Like that's a whole nother entity of Halloween.
But in this day, though, it's really dangerous.
You've also got to consider
nowadays.
we're in New York City. In smaller cities where it is a cul-de-sac, where like that's where I grew up. I grew up in a cul-de-sac where there were houses. We knew all of our neighbors. If that house light is on, then you go by there. There is candy. If not, then you don't stop there. Here, you can't really do that because, you know, we live on top of each other. But for Middle America, like, this is, it is a culture and it's a thing for them to get to know, and also, like, a neighborhood thing. As well as, like, the houses themselves, going and doing decorations. It's like a family thing. We come together, we decorate the house, you know?
But I feel like anybody that's religious feel like it's a bad thing because...
I agree with that. Now, religion, I think religion is it's a fine boundary because religion is a spirituality that comes with it. For me, I'm not necessarily religious. I'm more spiritual, so it doesn't really matter to me because, you know, my beliefs are a little different. But for those that are very strong in their beliefs, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But just understand the entity that it might have on your kids. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
you might have your own beliefs, but you can't
Yeah.
necessarily pressure that onto your
On
kid.
your kids.
All right, so we're talking about like ghouls and goblins and, you know, all these great things of Halloween. But I want to know, like, who's really like superstitious?
I am.
a little bit to certain, like there's certain things I won't mess with. If
like
that
what?
Makes sense.
Like let's lay it out.
I won't have a skull or a skeleton in my house.
I have I have like 5 of them. Like
yeah, but like
no, for real. Like I have like all my liquor are in skulls. It's like choose your poison. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I look at skulls as a totally different thing than death. Like it's not something to be afraid of. It's gonna happen regardless. So why like the more and more you think about it and you try not to act upon it, it's the more and more that you might open yourself up to it. It's just my thoughts.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. I feel like the fact that you act upon it is where you open yourself up to it. Because sometimes it's like spirits. Sometimes some spirits need to be invited in.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They don't just force they like you have to leave the opening for them.
Right.
So when you do certain things like having a skeleton or a monster or a fit, like I would say something with a demonic notation to it, you're inviting a certain spirit that you may not know per se what exactly it is going to do, because there's been stories, like you hear stories in like, you know, African homes where it's like they're going through this, that, and third, and they'll talk to someone who of like a pastor or someone of great spirituality. They'll be like, all right, you know, I was in your house and you got to throw that statue away.
Right.
And they'll throw it away, and their life will change.
There are certain things that have different entities that kind of hold on to them. I agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. And some things do seem, the scary thing is some things do seem innocent.
Yeah.
Like, let me use something for example, Hello Kitty. A little cute kitty, whatever. That, I'm just saying that as an example.
Like everybody's head turning like,
that might have some spiritual like connection to it that may not be so positive, but you wouldn't know that.
I think it's that one, not necessarily the whole thing.
Not the whole thing, but like
that one specific.
Yeah, like certain things.
Reason.
Like
right.
When it comes to superstitions, I'm kind of like afraid of like the whole walking under the ladder. No, that scares
breaking
me.
Mirrors? What
Yeah,
about
breaking mirrors, walking the black
Okay.
cat. And you know, my mother used to always tell me, like, she says, like, when you're cooking, don't put like salt in your hand and then take it and sprinkle it, because then you'll be broke forever. Have you ever heard that?
Shit, I do that when I cook.
You're not supposed
I've never
to
heard
do
that
that. Don't
Alright,
take
we'll see
the
if I
salt
can pay
and
my
like
bills this month.
sprinkle
Hold
it.
up.
Those are my superstitions.
All right.
Well, I would say don't ever let anybody cross over my leg, because apparently you will let, if they have bad luck, they will pass it down to you. So if somebody cross over your leg, you have to make them cross back. That's one of those things that I do believe in. Or if you let them broom your feet, that means you cannot get married.
That's a big one.
And
Splitting the pole.
I know, splitting the pole. That one.
I feel like that's an American thing. I never heard that before until when I came here.
I hit with that one, like the splitting the pole.
I do that all the time.
The other thing I think about is cheersing and not looking in the eye. It's like 7 years bad luck sex, and that might be another American thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
Splitting the pole is a big one, but I mean, in all honesty, I think it really boils down to is as much as you believe, it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So any superstition, if you really believe it, it's like you're, like you said, if you're inviting that spirit in there, then it's gonna happen, because that's what you're thinking about. Oh my God, I split the pole, or oh my God, I did this, so this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Then it's kind of like you're asking for it.
So what are you gonna be for Halloween?
Honestly, I don't know. I gotta figure out something with this beard moment, because that kind of like limits my options. I'm thinking about Ariel's father, the underwater, like, what was his name?
Yeah, I don't remember.
That guy, something like that.
Poseidon.
Thank you, that one.
I'm gonna be a naughty schoolgirl as usual. That's my favorite look, and I have a costume. I don't have to buy another one, so that's.
Oh, that's wag. Come on, do something different.
I just wanna just keep it.
What about Britney Spears?
Well, yeah, her too. But
Talk about appropriation.
but what are you gonna be?
I don't know. It's between a dominatrix and Michelle Obama. Like it's one or the other.
Wow, what a change.
Oh, okay. How about we merge the two?
Yeah, like, how did that happen?
You want to be my Obama?
Yay!
No, I thought that was already in play, but no.
It's not.
Shit.
What are you gonna be?
I'm not gonna be anything. I'm just being myself.
Aww.
Are you doing anything for Halloween?
Nah.
It's just not your moment, right?
Yeah, it's not my holiday, so.
I've been drinking.
I mean, everybody has their own thing.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. Please let us know, what are you gonna be for Halloween, and what are some of the superstitions that you believe in? Yeah. Let us know. Comment.
Tag us on your pictures. You know what I'm saying? We want to see what you guys are dressing up like.
Exactly.
Yes. Honestly, don't care what y'all wear.
Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Actually, it would be kind of hot if we do like a best costume contest.
Yeah.
Oh.
That'd be kind of dope.
Okay, that
You know
makes
what I'm saying?
sense.
Like,
That makes
you know,
sense.
then we picked our favorite
most
and
creative
repost
one?
it. Yeah, we
Sure.
repost it. Why not?
All right.
Yo.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween,
Halloween.
guys. Be safe.
Let's do the laugh.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.